Can people hear us now? Yeah.
Mic
I'm going to have to say everything over again. But welcome to another episode of Friday Night Live. We're talking about sports. Thanks for the heads up over there. The audio's not on. So the format that we're going to do today, that we switched it up from last week, is we're going to do 3 different sports. We're going to do 5 minutes for every sport. We're going to start with football. We're going to talk about the local and then the global, and then we're going to switch it up to we're going to have basketball. We can call it change up the bench, switch up the bench with our folks who are going to be talking about it. And then we're going to go over to soccer. We're going to talk about the local stuff and then go on to some of the more global news. We're going to try to cap it at 5 minutes each segment. And we're going to kick off today with football. And with us today in the blue headset, we got Marai. What's up, Marai? How you doing?
What's
I'm going to have to
How
say it
doing?
again, I know, because the mics are off.
So, okay.
And we got in the red headset, we got Abdurrahman.
What's good?
Yeah. And then in the purple headset, we got
How you
our
doing?
good friend Abdullah over here.
Is the mic working for me?
Yeah, it's working. Yeah,
Okay,
we
cool.
hear you. We hear you
All right,
good. We hear
perfect,
you
perfect.
loud and clear.
Just making sure.
So, the other thing is we are live this week. So if you are watching on Facebook, what we're going to do is we're going to take any of your live comments. So if you have questions or comments or feedback or you disagree with people, keep it respectful, keep it clean. But we'll go ahead and share or kind of respond or react to some of your comments live. Especially if you got questions or something. Maybe you disagree with what somebody's saying, so that's cool. Share it along. And but let's get the discussion on football started. I'm going to start the clock here for 5 minutes. We got our own timer here. And, Marai, why don't you kick us off here with some of the local news? What's going on with the 49ers? I know that they're searching for a head coach, and that's been going on for some time. So what's going on?
Yeah, so basically after this season, Chip Kelly got fired, and we've been we went through 3 different coaches in the past 3 seasons. So we actually owe those 3 coaches a lot of money. But our salary cap is pretty big this year. And which is pretty good. So we're interviewing a bunch of coaches and offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, but the main one that we're looking at right now is the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, who is Mike Shanahan. Obviously, he's not gonna start as head coach right away because he's going to the Super Bowl right now. But he's one of our top picks, and we're basically trying to find one before the season ends. Another thing going on with the 49ers right now is for the draft, basically, we're the 2nd pick in the draft right behind the Cleveland Browns.
And that's because we did so well, right?
Yeah, 2-14 season. So basically, which is we're trying to rebuild right now. We have a lot of young people on the team, but we're looking mostly at quarterbacks and wide receivers. We're also looking at.
So are they dumping cap?
No, well,
I mean, if they say they're looking for another quarterback, it means that they're trying to pull the plug on
usually
cap.
when they look for a quarterback, what they do is they let their veteran quarterback start for the season.
For the next season.
Yeah, but for preseason is when they start their draft picks basically and let them experience how the NFL really works before the season actually starts. So we're looking at Deshaun Watson, a really good quarterback coming out of Clemson, and we're looking at another quarterback. I really don't know his name, but he's from North Carolina, an excellent quarterback and great stats. And we're also looking for defensive ends. But the thing is, I don't agree with that because we drafted 2 defensive ends last year, right after each other, and the year before that. So I don't really agree with that choice, but a quarterback would be a good pick for the Niners. That's about it. That's going on.
Well, just to add on to that, like there's a really good quarterback from USF, University of Southern Florida, and this guy's been through like some like crazy adversity. You know, like his mom died, his dad died, and then later on in his life, like his brother died.
I saw the video that you shared on Facebook.
I posted it on
it's
Facebook.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just crazy. Like someone like that who's just been through a lot, and they still stay motivated to do like great things
Still
and like
moving
dominate
forward.
in football.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's someone you want on your team. You know, they'll keep like the whole team motivated. You know, so I
Yeah.
think the Niners should definitely try drafting him.
I'd want the Raiders to get him. We have
Yeah,
Carr,
definitely.
but why not have another quarterback?
Talk to us about the Raiders. Where are they at in the draft pick? And
Well, I mean, they're pretty high up.
because they did pretty good this season.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
did really well this season. Derek Carr got injured. You guys might have talked about it last week. He
Yep.
broke his femur, and he was out. And then once he was out, our offense was out. There wasn't really anything that our offense was able to do. In recent news, he's recovering really well, and he just talked to the organization about renewing his contract and getting more money. So he's trying to get like a specific contract with the Raiders. And then there was the new assistant defensive coordinator. What's his name?
Chuck Pagano, I believe.
No, John.
Or no.
John Pagano.
Chuck Pagano's the coach of the,
Oh, yeah,
for the
yeah,
Colts.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's just related to him.
It's his brother or his
Maybe.
cousin?
Yeah, something like
Same
that.
last name.
But yeah, for the draft, I'd really want to get someone like Jabril
Yeah.
Peppers.
Jabril Peppers is a beast. I've been watching him since high school, and literally,
Where does he play right now?
he plays for Michigan.
Okay.
What
yeah,
position?
for Coach Harbaugh. He's
He
he
can
plays
play anything.
Yeah, basically he
He
plays
can
any,
literally-
What do you call him? You say Coach what?
Coach Harbaugh.
Harbaugh?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his name. He played for him at Michigan.
Okay.
But like basically, this guy he can
It's
do
Harbaugh.
anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
Same thing.
it's okay.
But anyways, he could play like anything on the field. You know, he could play punt returner. He could what's it called? He could run the ball. He could play
Be a
defense.
receiver.
Yeah, but
Good.
the position that he likes to play the most is corner. And if the Raiders pick him up, like that's it. We're going to Super Bowl for sure. Because this
Yeah.
guy, like,
Nice.
whenever there's a big play, he always like causes that big play, or he's around it, and he helps out in some
they
way.
can use him after Charles Woodson retired. So there's
No,
a,
but
there's
we
a
No,
better
also have
spot.
Carl Joseph
Yeah,
too.
you got some
Carl
good.
Joseph is like
your secondary is
hitter,
stacked.
so-
At-
All right,
no,
let's
secondary-
switch it up though. I'm gonna switch it up to because we're running short on the time. We're trying to
Sure.
stick onto the timer
Oh,
here, right?
no.
So it's all good. It's all good. We're getting used to the timer, the clock. We're working on us here. But last week you guys made some predictions
Mhm.
on what the Super Bowl. The two teams we're gonna go head to head.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
what were your predictions and were you right?
My predictions were the Patriots and the Falcons, and seeing as the Patriots and the Falcons are both going to the Super Bowl, yes, I was correct. But this right here is what led the Falcons to go to the Super Bowl, and it's the NFC conference versus the Packers. A couple of key things that actually happened in this game was basically the powerhouse offense of the Falcons going
Mhm.
against a not so good defense for the Packers.
Packers, yeah.
4 touchdowns for Matt Ryan, throwing 4 touchdowns and running one in for himself. So that's 5 touchdowns right there, all because of him. And Julio Jones, of course, getting 300 yards plus.
Mhm.
Devontae Freeman, and basically like all of those weapons right there work together, and the defense for the Falcons balled out. Like
Mhm.
they stopped the Packers. They weren't even like letting them do anything. How many drop balls did Aaron Rodgers throw? And like there were so many, and like mistakes on both sides of the ball
So
for
bad.
them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, so that's what led them to the Super Bowl.
44-21 victory.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
44-21.
they
Yeah.
killed
They
them.
smoked them.
Yeah,
hmm I was saying in the beginning of the season, like I was slightly joking. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be Falcons and Patriots," and then one of my friends was like, "No, Falcons aren't gonna make it." Falcons, and then afterwards, like the offense started like stepping it up.
Yeah,
At the time
yeah.
when I said it, the Falcons were 0-4. So then when I said it, people were like, "Okay, that's not gonna happen." But
Mhm.
you know,
they had a
it ended
rocky
up
start to the beginning of the season, but
Mhm.
they picked it up eventually along the way.
Yeah, so I said I said it would be the Falcons and the Steelers,
happening.
but the reason being, I said this, like, if Le'Veon Bell could get started early and do good early in the game, then the Steelers would end up winning, because then they'd like pick up and they'd be motivated behind him, But the thing is, Le'Veon Bell, he got injured, so I think that played a big factor in why they lost the game.
And Le'Veon Bell's their star
Mhm.
running back.
Mhm.
So what,
All right, and let's wrap it up with the NFC so we can move on.
I
okay,
think that's
here-
about it.
No. Here, okay, so let's talk about what's gonna happen in 2 weeks from now.
hmm
Mhm.
Who do you guys think is gonna take it?
So for me,
Well, let me ask a question because we have one more episode
Mhm.
next Friday.
Mhm.
Between now and next Friday,
We have the Pro Bowl.
so there's a Pro Bowl.
hmm
What are the teams before the Pro Bowl? What are the teams that are before the Super Bowl? What are they doing between now and then? Are they resting up or are they practicing
Depends.
hard? What are they doing?
No,
It
they're
depends. So
practicing.
if the
Falcons
players
right
made
now
it to the Pro Bowl, so the Pro Bowl are selected throughout the league,
Mm.
like best players in the best in the position. So whether
Mhm.
it's defensive end, corner, quarterback, whoever's not in the Super Bowl.
Mm.
So they select them to come. It's usually in Hawaii. Where's
But this year's in
It's-
Orlando.
Yeah.
It's in Orlando.
Yeah,
right?
Florida.
And they have them just play a big game. It's usually Coach Irvin versus Coach.
But
No,
this
it's
year they
different now.
switched it up. They did NFC versus AFC.
Yeah,
they
it's like-
they went back to the old
Really?
roots, yeah, which is great
I
because
didn't
I
know
don't
that.
even like the drafting
it's like
system.
for AFC, it's like Ray Lewis and Jerome Bettis.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
They're coaching them.
Yeah, I forgot. Well, NFC is Charles Woodson, and then someone else that's coaching it.
Why Charles Woodson?
Well,
'Cause he played for the
he used
Packers.
to play for the Packers.
So
Yeah, I know,
NFC.
and-
He
yeah.
played with the
he
Raiders
retired
his
as a
whole
Raider.
career.
But right now, the Falcons are practicing and the Patriots are practicing in
Mhm.
their facilities. But they're obviously taking some time off and resting up before the big game.
Where's the Super Bowl gonna be this year? It's in
Houston.
Houston. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking a little bit about the AFC, which was the match between the Steelers and the Patriots.
Mhm.
It was a good game, but Le'Veon Bell, like you said, being
Mhm.
injured in the beginning of the game was really like the cause of them falling down
Yeah, definitely.
throughout the rest of the game. D'Angelo Williams stepped in. He was a good running back. He was doing well. He did everything right, but the way the Patriots defense is set up, like I've been
and
saying.
offense, you got the magician,
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, and Chris Hogan got 2 touchdowns, came out of nowhere, and like he was lined up in the spot that Gronkowski was supposed to be in, and Chris Hogan scored 2 touchdowns off of that, one off that trick play, the flea flicker,
Yeah.
and then another just a regular touchdown that Tom Brady threw to him. But the Patriots defense is just, they're able to take away those game changers
Yeah.
and those playmakers on the offensive side of the Falcons, of
Exactly.
the other team. So
Eliminate the biggest threat that
Mhm.
they have. That's they're really good at doing that.
So what I think is going to happen basically is the Patriots win the Super Bowl in 2 weeks because of that specific reason. They're going to take away Julio Jones out of the game. They're not going to allow Devontae Freeman much running yards, and Matt Ryan probably won't have that much time in the pocket. Even though
But the Falcons have a lot of weapons.
they do
They
do,
have a lot of
and,
weapons that
and
they
you
have
were
to take
saying
care
that
of. I mean, most people don't want the Patriots to win,
Mhm.
but I mean, because everyone's just hating on Tom Brady. He earned those 4 rings, and if he's, they're the team of the century.
Yeah.
They're winning
Definitely.
throughout
Yeah.
this whole century.
As
So,
much as I wouldn't want them to win,
Mhm.
they're most likely going to win. That's
Mhm.
like keeping it realistic. But no, what's your pick, Nanda?
So me personally, I want the Falcons to win,
Mhm.
but I know definitely the Patriots are gonna win.
And
And
Tom Brady, he's a local boy. He's from San Mateo.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. He's from
And
here.
what's it called? I saw this statistic, and it said that 72% of teams that score first in the Super Bowl end up winning. And there's also another statistic that said like 11 of the last 12 Super Bowl winners, they wore white jerseys. And things the Patriots are wearing white jerseys this year. So
Oh, yeah, the Steelers
That's
when they
interesting.
wore it, yeah. Yep, and the Patriots when they wore it. Yep,
Mhm.
that's right.
Yeah, interesting. All right, and what do you think?
Oh, I mean, most people want the Falcons to win. Even though I said that they were going to make it to the Super Bowl, I still think the Patriots are going to win. So we're all on this. I'm not trying to sit here and create controversy,
yeah,
but the Patriots will most likely win, and everyone's going to go for the Falcons because they hate on the Patriots. I'm a Raiders fan. The whole Tuck rule thing, still not over it, but
remember.
I still,
Yeah.
I'll give respect to respect to do.
yeah,
All right, 10 seconds predictions.
Oh, we just did.
yeah.
Sorry.
Patriots.
What about Pro Bowl? Or we don't know what's going
Pro
on with the
Bowl.
team. Yeah.
I'm gonna say NFC for
Of
Pro
course
Bowl.
you're going to say NFC.
I'm gonna say
AFC.
Come on.
AFC,
All right,
definitely.
yep.
Yeah.
I guess that's about it.
All right. Thanks for having us, Sam.
All right. So what we're gonna do right now is, sorry, I'm trying to set up the next team here.
okay.
I'm gonna switch it up. So we're gonna go take a 10-second break while we switch up the bench.
right.
So go ahead, guys, and
Peace out,
again,
everybody.
Thanks. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Pleasure.
So we're switching it up now. We're gonna go to some discussion on basketball, and to introduce the people, we got in the blue headset. We got our good friend Yassine. We got in the red headset. We got a good friend Osama. What's up, Osama? How you doing? And in the purple, we got our good friend Adam. Adam, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's
man?
going on? So, all right, let's restart the timer. I'm gonna try to we're gonna try to stick to the 5-minute rule. I know we kind of went a little bit over with the other one. So here we go. Timer started. Yassine, why don't you kick it off with us? Let's talk about some high school basketball.
So the top high school team right now is Chino Hills, which is Chino Hills is a city around North California, and their best player, whose name is LaMelo Ball, he's like one of the top prospects and is going to be going.
Is he a senior or what's he?
He's right now a sophomore.
Okay. Oh, so he's got some time.
Yeah. So his freshman year, actually, when he started playing, UCLA contacted him and told him that we really want you to come play in his freshman year, and that's never happened. It usually doesn't happen until like maybe junior or senior year.
LeBron was pretty popular when he was in high school too.
Yeah, but he got drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
So he's going to college, maybe play like a couple of years and go to the NBA.
Okay.
As far as the whole team goes, they're so far undefeated. They haven't lost a game yet, and then that's just what makes them like such a great team in the state.
All right, so let's switch it over to NBA. I know we don't have that much local news right now on basketball right now, except for what you shared. But let's switch it up to NBA. So where are we at with the NBA, Osama? What's going on?
So basically, right now we're halfway through the season,
And
Are the Warriors doing as good as they've been doing last year? They did last year, or are they kind of
they're
slipping a little bit?
good, but they're not as good as last year.
Mm. Is it the new team dynamics that are still not fleshed out, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's just because they lost half their bench, which make them actually great. Is the bench. They lost, I think, Festus Ezeli, Andrew Bogut, Harrison Barnes, and they lost a lot of key players. But yeah, it's halfway through the seasons. A lot of people who thought teams will be super teams didn't make it as super teams, as the Knicks. They didn't. For example, there was drama around Derrick Rose, Carmelo Anthony being traded. And basically now, halfway through the season, Russell Westbrook, first player after Wilt Chamberlain to average a triple-double as a career for the whole season so far. So that's actually historic. And the playoffs will look interesting. It's going to be a high-viewed playoffs.
Yeah, we got the All-Star game coming up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are surprised that some people didn't make it to the All-Stars, like Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, one more player that didn't make it. I forgot who.
Damian Lillard. They said
CJ
he didn't-
McCollum, yeah.
He didn't make
Oh
it.
no,
Portland.
it's Chris Paul. Chris
Paul
Paul
didn't
make it. I was looking at how many people. Oh, another big news is Carmelo Anthony.
Getting traded.
Yeah, that's really.
He wants to be
interesting.
traded, I think, right?
He wants to
Yeah.
be traded.
Yeah.
I think he's fed up over the fact of playing for the Knicks, and he hasn't won a championship yet. So I think he got drafted a year after LeBron, or the same year as
No, there was same year.
Same
Dwayne
year?
Wade, Chris Bosh, all of them.
So they got drafted the same year. So he feels like he's left out because he's the same age as LeBron.
And plus
he
now
hasn't
he's
won a
stepping out of his
championship.
prime. So he's like, the time is kind of getting closer to the end of his career, and he really wants to enter the playoffs and be a contender. Actually, the Knicks offered the Cleveland Cavaliers for Kevin Love, and Cleveland denied it. They offered Boston. There were no comments about it, and also the Clippers. But that's it. Overall, no more news about Carmelo, and he wants to be traded.
You guys think he'll be a good asset to the Warriors? I know we can't. The Warriors can't have him.
No, I don't think so.
You just
don't
want to
think
take
so?
everybody good, huh?
I mean,
of course.
course.
As a Warriors fan, you know what I mean.
Carmelo's
why
like
not?
Carmelo's the type of player that likes to score the most points every single game, and he wants to be a leader.
well,
So
I mean, you can't be a leader if you move to a different team.
But I mean, he wants to go play for, I think it was Boston and the Clippers. So if he goes to the Clippers, then he's going to be dominant on the small forward position, because they're going to have the starting lineup, which is Chris Paul, JJ Redick, Carmelo, Blake Griffin, and then DeAndre. So he'd be able to dominate in his position. If he goes to the Warriors, then that means he'd have to play the 4 position, and he can't. Because if you'd have the starting 5, it would be Steph, Clay, and then instead of Kevin Durant, and then instead of Draymond, you'd have Carmelo Anthony. Which
All right, we got 30 seconds. Cavs
Alright.
versus Warriors. What's going on?
Oh,
Do you think the
Man.
playoffs are going to end up the same matchup?
Yeah.
No.
And
I think the Warriors are gonna make the playoffs. They're a clutch team, and they also have a lot
Obviously,
of.
gonna make the playoffs.
Obviously, no, they're gonna make the finals.
the finals.
They're gonna make the
Okay.
finals, and the Cavs are gonna make the finals. Although they're in a slump.
So you
right
think
now,
it's going to be a rematch of last
I
year?
think it's gonna be a rematch for the next.
I wouldn't be
2
surprised
years,
if the Cavs don't make it.
2-3 years.
Yeah,
Or they're
I
just
wouldn't
not,
be
they're not
surprised either.
so sharp this year. Or what's
I don't
going
know,
on?
They've had a bumpy road in the middle.
6
Yeah.
of last 8, right?
Yeah.
Or 7
I
of
don't-
last.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Hmm.
But I think they
just
will make
lost to
the.
Brooklyn Nets.
Well, I mean,
They won. They won, man.
Cavaliers?
Cavaliers won today.
Oh, they won today.
They won today. They lost 6 of the last 8. So that's a slump. But you know, LeBron, it's also halfway through the season. There's a lot of time left, and there's more time to go ahead. So we can't judge right now.
Little comedy. Basketball players are starting to flop.
yeah.
Like soccer players.
The college
Yeah.
players.
It's like, well, we're gonna get to soccer in just a second here. So
Not just like college players. LeBron's the biggest flopper in the world. I don't know. Where
Shots
he gets
fired.
it
He is.
from.
He is a
Shots fired.
flopper, but
Yeah, but
he's
it's
the
just-
best. He's the
we,
goat.
we're gonna get a lot of nasty
Don't-
comments
don't-
online
don't
about
say
that.
anything
He's
right
the
now.
ghost.
We
He's the
don't wanna
ghost of
get-
this right now.
He's
You-
the ghost.
right now,
Yeah,
he's
he
the
is the
goat.
ghost. Yeah, I know.
Who,
he's the
LeBron?
He's the goat.
He's a ghost. A ghost or goat?
No,
What did you
both.
say?
He's both.
All right.
He is the
Well,
best
final thoughts. We're gonna wrap up. Switch up the bench. Final thoughts.
Let's do it.
Warriors take the finals 4-1.
Cavs 7. 4 games.
Dang.
7.
No,
That's it.
I say it goes 5 games.
He says goes 5 games.
Oh, goes
I say
7
it can
games.
go 7 games.
Okay,
Obviously, we want you guys to blow another
that's
3-1.
fine. Oh
okay.
wow, you're a Cavs fan?
We'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about that next time. Oh god.
Oh,
All right, we're gonna switch up the bench. Let's do it. And here we go. All right, we're back. We switch up the bench. We're gonna switch it up to soccer right now, and we got back Abdullah on the red headset, but we got joining us here. We got Salman on blue. Salman, what's happening?
AKA flat top.
All right, flat top. Let's do it. And we got Osama back here on purple. What's up, Osama? Good. Hey, so I want to talk about something here. It's a pretty interesting phenomena. Why is soccer not that popular in the U.S.?
Okay.
What I think is that there's way too much hype about football. Like me growing up, going to high school, I went to Cupertino High School, and any high school for that matter in America, football is really hyped up. So the sport to do is football. Whether it's football and basketball, like you have a lot more viewers in the United States for that sport. And then there's like the big culture behind football, and then Friday nights in high school, Saturday nights in college, and then Sunday night. Like the whole weekend is revolved around football when it's football season. And even like some of the soccer players, when they'd some of them would join football just because there was so much hype behind it, and like a lot more people would come to the football games. And I think that's mostly it, is that the American culture is more surrounded around football and basketball rather than soccer. But I think if you go in any other country, it's different.
But that's changing though, yeah.
Yeah, but
Go for it.
To me, so most American sports, if you look at them, like the results end up with 2 digits, and on the other hand,
What do you mean 2 digits? Sorry.
like
Scores.
let's say
Oh, the score.
scores, yeah.
The score. Yeah.
But if you look at soccer, sometimes
Zero,
after 90
zero.
minutes, yeah. So people think it's boring. That's why.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
I think it's just because soccer is dominated across in the rest of the world. So for the U.S. to come like years later and try to like pick up the sport, it's very difficult to do. Especially like Abdullah mentioned.
So you think we're dissing it just because we're not good at it yet?
I don't think.
Not
I think there's a
that.
lot of good players in the United States,
Mhm.
but because not a lot of money is spent on soccer,
Mm.
that those players aren't getting a lot of recognition.
Mm.
For example, the MLS, when they have their playoffs, instead of having it like midweek games or like at different times from basketball games and NFL playoff games, they do it at the same exact time. They're trying to compete with the NFL,
Mm.
where that's not going to get you a lot of views.
That's not very good
Like
planning.
the
on
NFL,
the-
Really good
football,
planning.
football literally owns a day of the week.
Yeah.
It literally
Yeah.
owns Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's it called? Also,
But then that's poor planning though on the league for scheduling games to conflict on.
That's
with
true,
conflicting
but also
timing.
like you look at like high schools and like even as early as elementary school, there's 2 sports that people play in elementary school are flag football and volleyball. There's never a soccer team or
There's
even though-
basketball,
soccer league.
basketball too.
and
yeah.
that's very rare. Like
Mhm.
most of the schools.
But,
they
but
play
that's
flag
changing
football.
though. That's changing.
So you think
yes,
think
on that.
soccer's on the come up? Or what do you
Well,
think?
I mean, I think you sent me a picture. I put it
Yes.
up on the screen here. You want to talk about that because
Yeah.
it is changing.
So that picture shows that soccer. Soccer. being
Explain to
viewed-
people what that chart is.
So that chart basically shows the amount of the Google searches for soccer popularity in the United States.
in the United States.
But what's happening
the
is
green
people,
is the United States.
the green is the United States, the MLS league, which is the soccer league in the United States.
Mhm.
The blue is
That's down here, yeah.
the English Premier League. So
Okay.
even the popularity for soccer in the United States, it's not benefiting U.S. grown players. It's benefiting
Mm.
Europe at the end of the day, where the quality of the game is at, where the best players want to play.
Mhm.
You look at Ronaldo, Messi, not Rooney, but Mkhitaryan.
but you also have retired players like Henry and those guys who come to the States.
they came at that's when they know that their retirement, that their career's up.
Paychecks, yeah.
Yeah.
But we talked about that a little bit last week, right? Which is how some of the different MLS teams are getting some of the older, premier players, from international teams. and that's kind of increasing the viewership of the MLS games and kind of the. Is it good enough?
A little bit, but I think it needs to be more. Like you need to like invest in your young players. It needs to start with programs that can get young players. Like if you look at Santa Clara High School, there's a player by the name of Jamal Adam.
Yeah.
This guy's a wizard at soccer. He's exceptionally well. He assisted last game, even though they lost 7-1. But he's a really great player. So like if players like that get more recognition in like city level and like state level, then people would like have more of a following.
Mm-hmm. So let's see here. How much time we got left? I think we don't have that much long. We got a minute left. Let's talk about there's some issues around the Quakes and the Ultras.
Oh, actually, they have a game in 2 weeks. It's a preseason game, but no one knows about it.
It's in 4 days.
In 4 days?
Yeah.
Oh, that's for the under 18, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
So, but now that you mentioned it on this show, Salman, everybody knows about it.
Everyone in the world.
Yeah.
We're gonna fly in.
Don't underestimate the viewership right now.
yeah, so they have a preseason game against I forgot the team, but
Kansas
the
Sporting.
Kansas. Okay.
So what's going on with the Ultras though? There's some issues.
So the
going on.
Ultras, pretty much, it's divided up in two sections where it's the Latino side versus the non-Latino side, and they hate each other. I mean, I've been to a few games, and I've sat with the Ultras from the Latino side, and I've sat with the Ultras from our non-Latino, and they say that they hate each other.
But why? I mean, like
I
that's
have no idea.
they're supposed to be supporting one team.
I have no
Yes,
idea.
That's one
Like,
of the
this
issues.
makes no sense.
But honestly, I prefer the Hispanic Ultras because they're more passionate about the sport.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're Ultras, you're passionate, period. It doesn't matter your race or anything like that.
Yes.
You're passionate about the sport. You're passionate about the team, and you're there to support the team. You're there to, especially on home field advantage.
Hold on, time out. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know what soccer is. What's the ultra? What is that?
Ultras,
Come on.
it's like a fan
Ultras.
base.
Good,
That's
good.
The diehard fan base. They're always at
Okay.
every game. They're the ones
Face
that come up with
paint.
the chants, face
Okay,
paint.
so that's what you
The
call them,
drums.
Ultra? The ultra,
Ultras, yeah.
ultras.
Ultras.
That's like the fan base. That's
Yeah.
what the name
No,
is.
that's the hardcore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
fan base.
Yeah.
It's like
And they get a special section in the stadium.
It's like the
black
Raiders
hole.
for the
the
black hole.
and then people
Exactly.
get dressed up. They have masks and all that stuff. Okay, got
Exactly.
you.
Do you do that?
Huh?
I mean, do you go to a Raiders game?
Of course I do.
There you
I
go.
used to have like this really ugly mask that I would wear.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was nice.
Not needed, but
Also, we have a Classico coming up, but it's not a local event, though.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that probably next week. I think we're over time. So what I want to do is I want to thank everybody here. And what I'm going to do is we're going to continue to be live every week. We'll take your comments and your questions from Facebook Live if you have any. I know the live stream here is just flooding with useless comments, but if we have any comments
Shout out
of
to
substance and we have any comments or questions like that, we'll obviously entertain those. And with that, we're gonna wrap up this this live stream, and we'll hope to see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.